Jeremiah is jailed. After Dwight showed Jeremiah his place, Jeremiah needs someone to rant to, so Cole becomes his punching bag. Cole makes an effort to retaliate against Jeremiah's degrading remarks, but despite his machismo and strength, Cole isn't that strong. He is therefore forced to take Jeremiah's verbal blows and kicks. When Dwight gives Jeremiah a copy of Sun Tzu's The Art of War at the conclusion of Tulsa King Season 3, Episode 7, he realizes that he has lost Sackrider and that the ban on Montague Distilleries has been lifted. Rather than rebounding from this setback in a methodical manner after storming into Sackrider's office, Jeremiah starts berating him for betraying him. Sackrider makes it very evident that he has changed sides and is no longer terrified of Jeremiah's threats since he has greater faith in Dwight than in Jeremiah. Jeremiah becomes extremely aggressive as a result, attempting to strangle Sackrider to death in his workplace. Jeremiah is led out of the Attorney General's office and immediately placed in prison before he can cause any significant harm. For Jeremiah, is that correct? Will Musso be the main antagonist for the remainder of the season? I suppose so. Jeremiah really has nothing going for him these days. Does Cole have any justification for posting the bail money to put Jeremiah back on the playing field? No, not at all. Cole will undoubtedly be able to develop because he has been mistreated and oppressed by his father for a very long period. But will Jeremiah learn to love his one and only son while incarcerated? I don't think so. Nevertheless, I believe Jeremiah's subplot has come to an end, at least for this season, and we will see him again in Tulsa King's unavoidable fourth season. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the space provided for comments below. Thresher finally realizes that Sackrider isn't the only one being played. Dwight and Margaret have also been playing with him when Sackrider returns to the tables. Dwight tells Thresher that Sackrider will always be in his pocket because he lost so much money at his casino. Dwight will be able to get Sackrider to support Thresher and make him dance to his music if he has him in his pocket. Thresher seems displeased that Dwight and Margaret kept him in the dark, even though he understands that this is a smart move. I have no doubt that Thresher will forget about Dwight and Margaret's white lies once he is elected governor. Returning to Sackrider, Dwight offers to cancel the debt if he becomes his man rather than Jeremiah's when he comes to him sobbing about his losses like a deity. Although Sackrider doesn't say so, it's obvious from the expression on his face that he has fallen for Dwight's trap hook, line, and sinker. He became overly susceptible to Thresher's comments as a result. Sackrider won't owe Dwight anything if he gets too close to Thresher. Sackrider's losing streak starts when Dwight sends Grace to replace the real dice with loaded 1-7. Dwight receives a call from Ray. Yes, the same Ray who was refusing to answer Dwight's calls and grinning evilly as though he had the ideal chance to subjugate Dwight was prepared to hear reason. What was the purpose of hinting at a conflict between Ray and Dwight, then? I'm not sure. Returning to the exchange between the two elderly men, Dwight states that although it is not feasible to offer Ray 80% of the liquor company's earnings, they may make a different arrangement in which Ray will grant him access to all establishment that needs alcohol in the Northeast. Ray will receive the money that comes from that area, which is technically his area, and it will increase Montague Distilleries' market share. Ray sets aside his ego and nearly shakes hands with Dwight since that seems like a decent approach. Nevertheless, Ray does want Dwight to understand that eventually he will have to give Ray a portion of his empire or share it with him. For now, at least, Dwight doesn't give that much thought because he considers it to be a meaningless threat. Ray hangs up, and the conversation turns to the Dunmeyers' planned attack at Bubbles. Mitch, Goody, Tyson, and Bigfoot most likely anticipate that Dwight will strike back, but Dwight is aware that they shouldn't take any chances until business is booming. He therefore makes the decision to try to remove Montague Distilleries' able seal. Dwight goes to Attorney General Sackrider's office to speak with him because it was he who sealed their property. Sackrider believes Dwight is there to grovel before him and asks Jeremiah to be lenient with him. Dwight obviously doesn't do any of that. Rather, he calmly emphasizes that Jeremiah is the reason of Sackrider's conceit, and Jeremiah's high dash. The reason for his handedness is because he has the present governor's approval. Sackrider will be in a difficult position when that changes because Thresher is the frontrunner for governor and is virtually in Dwight's pocket. Meanwhile, Dwight, Tyson, and Bigfoot went to a restaurant named Bubbles to speak with Ray about his persistent demands for a cut of Montague Distilleries' earnings. Dwight came down to brass tacks after some back and forth, accusing Ray of abducting Bill to make him submit to him. Ray had nothing to do with Bill's abduction because Ray became upset since Musso was the one who had jailed Bill for nearly discovering that Dwight was employed by the feds. Prior to Ray and Dwight coming to a compromise, when Cole and his goons arrived at Bubbles, they started firing at Dwight. Cole and his group were successfully driven away by Dwight and Ray's team, but Ray believed that Dwight was the one who had planned a gunfight to murder him, so he allegedly made the decision to sever all contact with Dwight and launch an offensive. But did he? Let's investigate.